takes a while to be right. So there's an old saying, and it's one of my favorites. Outline your life in pencil, not pen. Things change. Opportunities arise. Don't be rigid. Keep your eyes open. And I know Sam Darnold was supposed to be like a one-year thing, but he is so good with Justin Jefferson. He is so clutch in the fourth quarter. This is no longer just a good story. This is an excellent team, and he is an excellent quarterback. This isn't the 27 Vikings. Remember that? Pre-Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum, 13 wins. Case had 22 touchdowns. Sam's got 32 and counting, and he's 8-1 in one-score games. He has just been so good. And quarterbacks are either trucks, where they're pulling the team, or they're trailers, where they're being pulled. Sam's a truck. He's pulling this team. They lost their excellent left tackle, one of the best in the game, maybe the best in the game. They lost him. Sam's like, we good, 8-0 without him. That fourth quarter game-winning drive encapsulates all of Sam Darnold. The athletic ability, the toughness, making big throws in big moments. There is no denying he is helping pull this team. I'm not denying the receiving corps is good. Kevin O'Connell's an amazing. They call him the tall Sean McVay. But this is not the Case Keenum team. This is not just a guy that comes in and we all kind of fall in love with the story. Vegas had these guys at 6 wins. That's what Vegas had them at. 6 wins. This is not a great roster. Detroit, when healthy, great roster. Philadelphia, great roster. Buffalo, really, really good roster. Baltimore, excellent roster. This roster is pretty good. But Darnold's toughness, his coachability, his playmaking, that last drive, man, that's something else. And again, lost their left tackle. Wasn't perfect. This team could still be the number 1 seed. Number 1 seed. And I know you drafted J.J. McCarthy. I get it. And I know you brought in Daniel Jones. Understood. But to me, you got to franchise tag him at minimum. You can't let him go. What if he ends up somewhere along the way and comes back to beat you? And maybe this is the best Sam could ever be. And I'm not going to deny that Justin Jefferson, there's one in the league. And Kevin O'Connell is an excellent young coach. And Minnesota's always been a pretty well-run franchise. I'm not denying that. But outline your life in pencil. Plans change. Opportunities arise. Employees are better than you think. And I'm not saying it's just Sam. This offense got real players, but they lost their left tackle. I've seen other quarterbacks, rhymes with Brock Purdy, lose a left tackle or a running back and shrink. Not slinging Sammy Darnold. Another win. Still a number 1 seed is viable. And here's the coach after.
There wasn't really one guy, and I know I'm not speaking for myself. I thought we were going to go down and we were going to get a touchdown. And I think the level of confidence that group has in their quarterback and the level of confidence the quarterback has in the 10 guys in the huddle is significant. And that's how you're able to go do that in that moment on the road at this place. You know, you can't hear yourself think. It's pretty fantastic, you know, performance in that moment by, you know, not just our quarterback, but all 11 of those guys out there.
Yeah. This was an awesome game. There's just no other way to look at it. This was Sam Darnold is literally playing like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. He is playing like a big time elite quarterback. Whether we want to say he is elite or not elite, or he is a top quarterback or not a top quarterback, it's irrelevant right now. That discussion we'll save for March, okay? You know, April, May, when we got nothing else to talk about. He is playing right now like he is an elite top quarterback. And we can talk about, oh, Jefferson, Addison. Excuse me, sneeze on the truth. He only has to be great with the Minnesota Vikings, with this team, with Kevin O'Connell. We don't have to try to figure out, well, how good would he be if he played for this other team? Like, I always have those conversations when we talk about Mahomes and Allen and Lamar. those conversations make sense to have because we're trying to figure out, is this the greatest quarterback of all time? Is this one of the greatest quarterbacks? Yada, yada, yada. That's not what we're doing here with Sam Darnold. So we don't have to try to figure out, well, it's Justin Jefferson. Lots of quarterbacks would look good. It doesn't matter. He's leading this team to the number 1 seed, which is what I said was possible months ago. I mean, just that final drive, that touchdown, that pass to take the lead, the way how he moved up in the pocket, throwing off of 1 foot, unbalanced, getting sandwiched by 2 guys, throwing the ball with anticipation in double coverage. I mean, those are big time throws. Those are the throws that when Mahomes and Allen Lamar does it, everyone says that's one of the greatest throws I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, everyone loses their mind, right? They go, that's Mahomes, that's Josh Allen, that's Lamar, that's what Tom Brady does. I mean, they insert any all-time great. And he's consistently been doing this. This is why I've railed at First Things First and Nick Wright and Wilds and Brew for being like, pumpkin watch. And now here they are. It seems like, and I hope we get it like this, where it's the final game of the season. Winner gets the number 1 seed. That's another playoff game, essentially. Let's go. I am all for that. I mean, they got no run game. They had no run game yesterday. Aaron Jones, 18 carries for 67 yards. 3.7 yards per carry. 24 carries for 81 yards total rushing. I mean, this was not a clean game. They had 11 penalties. Or no, excuse me. The Seahawks had 11 penalties. That is a luxury to have. When you get 11 penalties like that and it's still coming out at the very end of the game, because I see the Vikings significantly better than the Seahawks. I see them a true level higher. There was a lot of games around the league that I think were closer than they should have been. And this was one of them. But to me, this just shows you who the Vikings are, because they've now done this a handful of times where they've won in less than ideal situations. Now, I don't want to see them keep doing that, but because this was a game that they technically could have lost, they literally took the heroics of Sam Darnold and Jefferson to win, to come away with this win. You don't want to see that, obviously. Seattle had more total yards, more first downs, more yards per play, more yards per pass, more yards per rush. They were only, the Vikings were only 3 for 12 on third. But again, the big thing was they had 2 interceptions and 11 penalties. That was the big thing. And the heroics of Sam Darnold and Jefferson. That was the equalizer of all of that. And it was special. I mean, it really, really was. But I always try to look at everything from all the different sides. And it's again, I'm the one that's been saying that the Vikings were a top contender back in July, okay? July. I've been there from the beginning. Before the beginning. I said, with Sam Darnold, this team will be a contender. And that was when before JJ McCarthy even got injured. But when you're given that many gifts from the other team, it's you want to see them pull away more. You want to see them be able to not have it come down to the heroics against the Seahawks. Because if it's going to take heroics against the Seahawks, you're well, what's it going to look like against the Packers, the Eagles, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens? You know what I'm saying? And I understand it. Not all games are going to be perfect, straightforward. But it's just, I'd like to know how often in the playoffs can you be outgained, outrun, all that type of stuff, and still come away with the victory. It's a tougher spot to be in. So to me, this is actually, they always talk about this, when you win a game like this, it's so awesome because you get the win, you have the exciting moments, and you can really highlight some amazing things, but there's still plenty of things to work on, plenty of things to look at practice and say, yo guys, We won this game. Because I guarantee you, the coach is like, we won this game. This was awesome. But I promise you they're talking about all of that. I promise you they're going through it all and saying, we got to be significantly better. We got to be significantly better. And that's actually some, in a lot of ways, that's kind of the perfect momentum to go into the playoffs, to finish up the season. Feeling good, feeling great, feeling high, but not feeling unstoppable where, like, all we do is need to show up. Because sometimes you do get that. You reach that point where you keep winning, and you're just like, all we do is need to show up, man. We find a way to win. We always do. And it's like, that actually becomes kind of problematic. So I actually think, like, a game like this is pretty perfect for the Vikings specifically. Not all teams, but for the Vikings specifically, for sure. And in terms of, what to do with Sam Darnold and all that, I'll just say briefly, because we've already talked about this a lot. I think you should absolutely keep Sam Darnold. You either franchise tag him or you sign him to a short deal. And you know what? Because of the success you're having right now with Sam Darnold, if J.J. McCarthy ends up being the quarterback of the future, well, then you know what? Since you're having such an insane high levels of success right now, maybe J.J. McCarthy is still your future quarterback, but you just at this point forfeit the idea of having him playing and starting on a very cheap rookie quarterback deal. You kind of do what the Packers did with Jordan Love, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or what the Packers did with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. You have JJ. I mean, JJ is young. Isn't he like 21 years old, 22? Like, he is young, so he could literally sit for another 2 years, 3 years, and still be younger than a ton of these other quarterbacks. He could start his first year as Bo Nix, as Jaden Daniels. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no one. It's nowhere written in the stars that you have to start your quarterback right away, or you can only sit just a year. Not to mention, we know if J.J. McCarthy is for real and is legit and can also be a top quarterback, he's going to be learning a ton behind Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell right now. A ton. It could only help him. Not to mention, he would have to really ball out, either in practice or actually in the games, like for his first season that he does end up playing eventually. If Sam Darnold doesn't just like take over and win like multiple Super Bowls with the Vikings, like if it's clear, hey, we're gonna move on to Sam Darnold, to JJ, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever. Again, like what they did with Brett Favre and Aaron and Jordan Love. You need like an amazing, like Jordan Love did, where he balled out that final year and blew out the Cowboys. If he didn't do that, Jordan Love's not getting that top contract. If he went to the Packers and got beat really good, if he went to the Cowboys and got beat really good or just lost, he's probably not getting that $200 million contract. So even in a way, it's kind of a win-win, because the quarterback, JJ, either balls out and you're like, well, hey, we're happy to pay him. This was great. We've had a great 5 years so far. Let's keep this train going. Or that first year is like, he plays pretty good. Nothing amazing, nothing terrible, like work in progress still, playing like a rookie quarterback. Then you won't have to pay him at this point. It'll probably be like, who knows, like $250 or something. You won't have to pay him that. You would pay him what the equivalent is of right now, like $45 million, $50 million. And that would be awesome. That would be a steal. So who knows? But it does feel like, the Vikings should stick with Sam. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings and their dominant year? The fact that they are a legitimate number one contender and not just a story. They are a team, like I've been saying all year. And what do you think that we should be doing, Sam Darnold? Even though I don't really think we should be having this conversation right now. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.